Good morning, everyone. This is Luda Kopikina with GAI Insights. Welcome to Daily AI News Review. Today I have Adam Ankaj and John Sverkla, who is going to be live in a couple of minutes. And we have a special guest, Vivek Muktaya, who is an Gen AI medical lead, medical engagement lead at Pfizer. He always has a really cool perspective. So welcome, Vivek.
Thank you.
All right. We will rate for you the news as essential, important, and optional. And we have 6 or 7 articles to review today, very interesting ones coming up. And you could see which articles we are reviewing at gaiinsights.com/articles. Okay, let's start with the first one. Ankash?
Sluda. So the first one that we have for today comes from McKinsey, and it talks about from engines to algorithms, how Gen AI is helping in automotive software development.
Yeah, this one is Adam. Adam, what did you think about this? This talks about various advances in automotive AI.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I had trouble getting into it. It was quite long. It seemed to cover quite a bit. It was very broad. I was put off a bit straight away because it talks about a recent McKinsey survey that's a year ago, and then goes on to reference some additional data that's in a forthcoming piece. And then the other references were from like 2 and 4 years ago. So it just felt a little outdated to me. I think it's a good summary if you're in automotives and you're trying to get up to speed on Gen AI. But for our general readers, I didn't bring a lot of insights away. This table here lost me. Just the article didn't really, it put me off. I'll be honest. I had trouble getting through it.
Yeah, I had the same feeling. But John, what did you think?
Yeah, boy, if I were still running thought leadership over at PwC, I would have crushed the person who wrote this. It's like, you got to be kidding me. It's poorly laid out, doesn't have a lot of data, has some data here and there, has no central point, doesn't really, to your point, Adam, let's put it this way: it's verbose, badly documented, unclear on its message, and boring in its tone. Other than that, it's great.
Vic, I shouldn't even ask you what you thought about it.
No, I agree with all of you that it was going back and forth between the automotive space and then general recommendations. The one thing I did find interesting is that in areas, I think this is some, again, for a leader who's starting to incorporate AI, that you can use multiple models to analyze the same inputs to compare and contrast, especially in areas where accuracy is very important. But otherwise, I completely agree with you. It's very generic and nothing beyond that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's put it as optional then, and let's proceed, Ankash.
Okay, the next one that we have is a research paper which says agents are not enough.
Yeah, interesting. Agents are not enough. This very catchy title, but does it have a lot of substance? Vivek, what did you think?
Yeah, I was between important and essential. Given that all the hype and at the end of 2024 around agents and 2025 being the year of the agents, this is providing an alternative perspective, the opposite perspective that we are not there yet. And I think this does a great job at providing the historical perspective on how we've always worked agentically through the 1950s, and it goes through a very nice review of all different types. And the claim here is that the current version of agents are lacking sort of trustworthiness, acceptance, and we need an ecosystem that is, and they provided a framework of it. That's where I was between important and essential because it's not in production yet, but it's more theoretical. But it's a lot of great points here for an AI leader who's starting to think about agents, to have that opposite perspective and to be careful about social acceptance, user preference as they start designing these agents where those type of programming is going to be important for
Yeah,
good implementation. Yeah.
one thing that the article stresses quite a bit is utilization of semantic information on top of the LLMs. And we've been talking about it for a while. And this presents a framework. Ankash, if you go down a little bit, there is a schematic that that presents a framework. Yeah, here. So that it says that it's user defined. They call it SIMS, where you can put a lot of information about what you're trying to achieve, and then the agents spun out of that and use that for representation. So yeah, I found that's interesting suggestion or framework. Adam, John, what did you think?
Yeah, I think it is on an important topic. I was more toward the optional end. It's been a long time, since I see the names SOAR and Mycin and Dendril. These are things that, I explored deeply when I was doing my thesis, and the SOAR architecture from Alan Newell, of all people, with the Simon Newell stuff. And so I agree, Vivek, that there's a need for a new framework. I think this one in particular is a little bit light compared. If we're going to go back to that time frame, there are more robust frameworks in terms of general problem solver and things like that or the work of Doug Lynette, which is mentioned in here. So I really felt like this would be optional for our AI leader. For those who want to draw from that period, which is actually very fertile, I think it would be worthwhile. But I didn't see this as the first article I would give them.
Adam, what did you think? So we have important and optional, and maybe essential.
I was leaning towards optional as well. If this were a foundation model, or like Meta, even perhaps, or Google, that were saying this is the standard they are going to be adopting, that would be a different thing than someone who's proposing a really interesting approach. I think a lot of people will be proposing a lot of interesting approaches to how we mature our understanding of agentic system and agencies. And this is a good one. I could see this bearing fruit, but at this point, it's probably too early to draw much attention to it.
Okay, so maybe what we say is a trend is important, that that we need more semantic information, we need a new framework, and this is the beginning of thinking about this, right? But so the trend is important, but the article is light a little bit. And
I mean, I would bet in the next week here, if not the next 2 weeks, we will have an article that we will say, okay, we have to call this one important. That's on this same trend. It seems to happen every time these days.
No, I was going to say the same thing. I think if someone's going to have to figure this out, right? How to implement this in a more trustworthy manner, and this is just one framework. So I'm okay with optional, and we'll get there.
Let's do optional and underscore that the trend is important. Okay.
So it's interesting, just to pick a bone about the semantics of semantic. There is semantic information in a matrix. It just happens to be in vectors and numbers. So it's kind of it's a very sloppy use of the word semantic, in my opinion. But whatever. I mean, it's just different. They're just different symbol systems with different internal syntax and semantics.
Yeah, but what essentially they're arguing that metadata on top of already existing semantic relationship information would be useful for speed and agility of the systems.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just I'm just making a pain in the neck point. I mean, all of these, every symbol system, including mathematics, has an intersubjective verification of a representation of reality that has a particular kind of semantics in it. And so, of course, you need to triangulate across different ones to get anything like a full understanding. Anyway.
Yeah. No, true. Okay, sounds good. We got it. Optional, important trend. Let's go on to the next one, Ankash, please.
Okay, the next one comes from Ad Exchanger, and it talks about how AI has already become the foundation of digital advertising.
Yeah, and it comes from the lady who is doing it, right? So what did you think about this, John?
Yeah, I thought I was going to give it an optional. I thought it was in the realm of product promotion articles. I thought this was a pretty good one, actually. But Sure. I think this is a theme that we've hit on a number of times, which is we're going from the question economy to the answer economy, from rough approximations of content for individuals to very customized ones, and I think that's all true. And I believe that Amazon is a real powerhouse here because they have supply, demand, all kinds of articulated customer bases, and so. I think this is a really important trend about going to the answer economy, but this particular article I was going to give optional, because she's clearly promoting her product, and I didn't see a lot of new data or information or even the kind of things we've come to expect from AWS in terms of a description of a case study that articulates the business need, the architecture, the implementation, the impact.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you that the article is promotional and light. However, she's just stating that this is already a foundation. So it has changed, and she is confirming that. I was thinking maybe we should put it as important as a statement of that. What did you think about this, Vivek?
No, I found this. I'm with John. I think it's very general. I think the one great thing that it talks about is this democratization of data science. I think that's the part that I would find is important. That's translatable to every aspect of incorporating Gen AI in database-based use cases. But beyond that, I think the AI leaders should know these topics fairly well by now.
Yeah. No, okay. So, Adam, where did you come out?
I was optional as well for the reasons mentioned. I'll just call out, I'm looking right on the screen there. In those paragraphs, I see things like game changer and harness, and all of these words that feel to me like they were written by an AI. It wasn't, as I was reading the article, it's not often these days, but there are still times where as I'm reading one, I'm like, this just, the language just feels robotic, and so I'm just calling this one out for that.
Got it. Okay, optional it is.
I actually did a find for the word delve just to make sure it wasn't in there, but that's always the telltale sign.
Yeah, it's the words as critical, important, Okay, all right, sounds good. Optional it is. Let's go next.
Okay, the next one comes from Teveli, and it talks about precision in AI research. So they have built a use case for Teveli's company researcher, and it explains how they have done this.
Yeah, with very detailed code level engagements. Vivek, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I thought this is important. This is, I think, the next phase of RAG, in my opinion, where you are also incorporating real-time data and search as part of your workflows. There's so many applications here, from competitive intelligence to understanding sort of company highlights, as well as internal updates. And the only thing that kind of made me this as important and not essential is that they have their own proprietary search algorithm, and I tried it out, and it didn't give me accurate answers. So that was my only. I think it's evolving, but this framework can then be utilized, because deep research. I mean, you can see that Google's deep research tool is excellent, and this is also limited by just 20 articles. When I've used Google Deep Research, it can go through about 30 or 40 different articles and scrape them, extract unstructured data, and then come up with some search. But it is modular. It can be used in agentic systems. Those are some of the things that they talk about. So I could call it a bit more important.
Okay, Adam?
I was leaning towards optional. Vivek, some of the very things you've mentioned, I feel like this is another entry in a very crowded space that's basically making a Claude wrapper and trying to get better results for people. And I hadn't tested it, good on you for doing so, but I questioned, is this a better mousetrap or just another mousetrap? And there are many out there already. So I felt like this would be optional news, almost along the lines of a product announcement. It is very important subject. I couldn't agree more, Vivek. And it's important that we have these frameworks and people start understanding how to get more advanced systems to get more accurate results and grounding. But this specific company or this product, I don't have anything really to back it. I
No, I agree.
didn't dig deeply into who their customers are or what their credentials are, but it seemed, I mean, they could have literally just made this website yesterday and I wouldn't know much the wiser.
No, I was giving the concept of this type of
Mm.
AI search as important in 2025.
Yeah.
What
No,
about the
yeah,
news
I'm
of Tavali specifically, which is what this article is about?
Agreed.
Yeah. So this is you're right, Vivek. We'll see a lot of these frameworks of how to essentially optimize RAG, right? To get accuracy, to get speed, and we've seen the modularization. We've seen graph RAG coming out of AWS. I think, yeah. So there's certainly a trend here. John, what did you think?
Yeah, I was leaning toward optional, but I think it's a really important area, and the big thing is how are these guys different in it.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll mark this article as optional, but highlight that the trend is super important of what's happening in terms of search and RAG and optimization of the two. Okay. Sounds good. Let's go next, Pankaj.
Okay, the next one comes from Microsoft and it talks about the golden opportunity for American AI.
Yeah, I think, John, you are the right person to review this article.
Yeah, I certainly get the feeling like it was written in the lobby of Mar-a-Lago. Each of the big parts of this thing starts with a wonderful thing that President Trump did in his last administration, which kind of makes me want to vomit. But other than that, I think the areas are correct, and I think that the challenge is that I'm on the fence between optional and important. I think that the topics are important. The way they're argued, I think, is incorrect. For example, and forget the political part for a minute. They talk about they argue both sides of the same argument from a different point of view. So first, they'll say, what's critical in this is the privatization and the private capability. Thank God, but we want the government to invest in R&D and talent. You know what I mean? So it's badly argued in the sense that it doesn't get to the mechanism. It basically it says that look, there's areas around talent, research, data centers, power that are important, and I also agree it is going to be success. And again, the next 4 years. I mean, come on. I do think it's an American decade in AI, and these are the right issues. I just think it's badly argued, and its politics irk me because I would say if we're going to start going to administrations, the Biden administration with the CHIPS Act and so forth, I think has done more than anything to help the AI area. But there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I was also, I was really exactly the same, optional to important, but ended up with important. What did you think? Because it argues the right, it maybe argues them incorrectly, but it raises the right points for people to think about.
Yeah, I think it's good to have a good news story. I mean, America, some people keep talking about how bad the American economy is. America is the leading economy of the world, pulling away faster. In 2008, we were the same size as the EU. We're now double the EU. And there's only two leaders in the world in AI, US and China. And the US, I would argue, is pulling away. So
right. But he's raising the right points, right? So
yeah.
It's like if we don't watch out, Chinese are doing a great job on catching up and putting great models up there, and they will try to populate and put them into the developing countries for sure.
Yes.
So we absolutely need to be cognizant of all of this, and those are the points.
Absolutely.
Adam, what do you think?
Well, I'll leave it to Vivek to be the final arbitrator. I was on the fence as well between optional and important. The one thing I was trying to figure out what it reminded me of as I was reading it. And as you were describing it, John, it came to me. It's like perhaps even in the 80s, the way the State of the Union address used to be. Right? It's like, let's talk about all the positive things. Let's look at the future that's ahead of us and, what we have and the opportunity at hand. And, almost at that level, but maybe a little too much at that level for an upper exec from Microsoft.
Yeah.
No, I'm in agreement with Michael that these are all known issues, well presented, and I'm with you guys that this is too political of an article. Reads too political for me to kind of elevate this into an important. But I was more on the optional side myself. But
Okay.
I can sense that all the topics are important, so I'll go with your recommendation.
But nothing
Yeah.
new, right? I agree with that. So is it worth, it's poorly argued to John's point. It's nothing new to your point. So should we put it as important? Optional it is.
There we go.
I was going to say we don't have a single important yet today. Maybe we should give people at least something they might want to read.
That's a wrong approach, Adam. Anyway, what do you guys
Optional
think?
it is.
I'm optional. I'm optional. My, chalk goes optional. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. The last one that we have for today is about a startup called Bin. So they are a new data to dashboard and second startup. So Bin is an AI business intelligence analyst. You can ask it to build dashboards for you. So sort of Microsoft Power BI, what Microsoft is doing now with Power BI. So that's what they are doing.
Yeah. Adam, what did you think? And did you try it by chance?
I didn't try it. I was going to upload an Excel spreadsheet to play with, but it asked me for connection details for a database. Maybe I didn't quite find the right place to play with it. But right on the homepage, you can type in a prompt, and then there's a link there for database, and then that forces you to create an account. So I didn't get far enough with it to really evaluate it, but it's a very cool idea. I don't think I would trust my enterprise data with a connection to this tool. So I'm not sure to what degree it's really going to be valuable. I expect if they don't already, everyone from Microsoft to all of the other major players in the data space will be offering this very soon if they aren't already integrating it into their tools. So I was probably leaning towards optional.
Okay. Vivek, what do you think?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to. I tried to play with it. I didn't have enough time to play with this. But I agree. This is, I think they say it's a new paradigm in business intelligence. I think it again democratizes everyone to measure impact of their work very easily. And there's going to be some change management involved in someone to adopt this, but this brings that barrier down significantly to become a data scientist on your own outcomes. So I like the trend, and I'm with Adam. If other super hyperscalers can incorporate this into the offerings, that's even better. So
But I think this is the type of stuff that machine learning was doing prior to the Gen AI wave, right? So all of these tools are in place. They might be, Gen AI is now giving it an opportunity to talk in conversational language, right? And adjust those analyses per user, right? Personalize it. But I don't know whether there's anything new. I was trying to understand what is new in here. It's 10 times faster than manual analysis, and I can give it that. It's a little bit, it's conversational, yeah, but other than that, but that's everybody else is doing. So I'm not sure what it does that other people do not do. So I was optional, but maybe I'm missing something. John, what did you think? Optional. Okay. We are super optional today.
It's our first no hitter of the new year, all optional.
There you go. Nolan Ryan would be happy.
That's okay. That's
That's
a reflection of what's
we're saving the AI leader a lot of time today. That's what.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a reflection of people are waking up after the holidays. It's okay.
There you go.
There are a lot of emails to catch up on today, I'm sure.
That's right. That's right. All right. Thank you all. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Tim, for Spencer, everybody who is commenting. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Don't forget Learning Lab tonight.
All right.
And let's see, our weekly Learning Lab is going to be a review of Microsoft Copilot offerings for secure employee chatbots, a very hot issue in organizations trying to figure out as they go into 25, what kind of chatbots they make available, how do they compare across different vendors, especially the big ones. And Microsoft, we're going to go in depth And very interesting talking with Paul, preparing for this. He said, he started out as a Copilot skeptic. He's actually getting a lot more, he's warming up to the idea. So we'll have some detailed reviews and interesting points of view tonight, 7 Eastern.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, let them know the time.
7 p.m. Eastern. And just go to the meetup. And if you go to our website, it's very easy to sign up for it if you're not already a member of our community.
I'll also be doing a new Adam's AI Adventure, which is a 5-minute episode. I'm gonna show 11 Labs' new voice agent. It's basically a very quick GUI through which you can upload some knowledge and then get a button with just a copy paste you can put on a website to start a voice chat with an agent. A very quick way to get going in a very important space that's coming at us quick.
Fantastic. And I'm going to be doing 5 minutes on Randy Bean's new Chief Data Officer AI survey, which is a fantastic piece, just came out January 2nd.
Wonderful. Join us, please, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
thank you again for having me, guys. Yeah.